Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Yo, that's so angry, guys.
Nope.
Hey, that's pretty good.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to DCTV. It is Monday morning. It is September 19th, and everything has gone to shit.
No, we are your stability in an unstable market, guys. We've been through a few of these rounds. You will find that we have diamond hands. We've been through this. You will be A-okay. This is your opportunity, actually.
Also, we actually have Tampa in house.
Of course you do. Of course I'm here. Cheers.
What's up, guys? So it's just Tamp, Jaime, and myself this morning. Greg is on assignment. I love it when I can say that.
On duty at Medify.
But yeah, we're gonna be talking about a lot of stuff today, revolving around Bitcoin in particular. And I actually put out a poll on @HelloMedify. That is the screen name that you see below on Twitter. And the general consensus is that we could actually see Bitcoin hitting a 52-week low this week. Mm-hmm. And we're going to be talking about that. Looking at right now, though, the actual futures of the stock market, also very, very tough day. S&P is down 23 points. The Dow's down 200. NASDAQ's down 68. So all down on a really tough start to the week after an already terrible week last week. We have Bitcoin right now that's sitting at $18,800 per Bitcoin. That's actually up from where it was. I think it was around 18.7 when I looked at it earlier this morning. So, but that nevertheless, that's down nearly 6%. So really tough start to the week. One of the big reasons, the Fed meeting is this week. Probably a high chance that we'll see 75-point rate increase. I would imagine that the markets are pricing in a 75-point rate increase. If he says anything else or becomes even more hawkish on any of that kind of stuff, we are going to see more pain in the markets. And so, but I think that that's kind of what we're all expecting, right?
Correct. Yes. And in the market itself, in Bitcoin specifically, we are at a...
I'm going to adjust this while you're talking.
Yes. We're in a support point where we should see either a double bottom, meaning a bounce, and then continues up.
Yeah. Or
it just breaks through the floor, and that floor now becomes a ceiling to come back up through once we stabilize the market. Trying to keep in easiest terms possible.
Sure. Let's you want to bring up the chart?
Sure. And like Don Fran just mentioned, can't reach the lows we talk about without pain. And that's the capitulation. Usually you'll see in markets. If you go to your account, that one.
Yeah.
Yes. So we're going to load up the chart. So I'm going to show you three charts. One is the overall history of Bitcoin, where it's been, and how do we know where the bottom is? BTC, top one. Yes, sir. And see advanced chart. There you go. And now click on where it says 3D gold. Yes. So guys, I'm going to jump in real quick.
We had like a massive reset before we went live, so it's been a little bit of
cameras were all weird on us and all. So here we go. I'm going to load the proper chart, but I'll speak as we go forward. We're looking at the overall years where we're at, and you're going to see it's nothing to be stressed about. This is something we were always expecting, and we're actually hoping for these drops because it gives everybody who's ever watched or just getting in to get Bitcoin at a discount price, a true discount price before we see the next leg or the next market run. So
you make a good point too, Jaime, just because October is traditionally a poor performing month in crypto. Mid-October is rough, regardless of if we're in a bear or a bull market. And that sort of pain can last all the way into and including Thanksgiving. I do believe, though, that we are in a camp where once we get through October, especially, and start touching Thanksgiving time, I do think at that point the low will be in. We might very well still be and likely will be in a bear market still, but I do believe that the low is going to come this October, about mid to late October. But we'll stretch it to November just to make sure. But we're going to feel the pain. It's coming. It'll come no lower than 12, but it is coming.
You heard that, Don
Yeah,
Fran.
Yes,
You just heard it.
It's coming. That bottom's going to get here, I believe, in October.
Absolutely. So let's add that chart now so you can see it. So this is the overall Bitcoin.
Big groin.
Big,
Big
well,
groin.
we're going to get kicked in the big groin in the next, starting this week to mid-October timeframe. And why do we say that? Well, if you look at the history of Bitcoin, we did a double top. And this is a concept. Usually a double top is a bearish formation of market price, meaning that the next thing is to come down. Or in the case of what we're looking at here at this very moment in history, we saw Bitcoin drop to this bottom near the 17,500. It bounced slightly, and now we could be seeing a double bottom where it starts rising again. Of course, we always wait for confirmation before we put our nickels and dimes into these moves. But this is where we're at globally. But if you notice, the period we're in is the bear market period. So we are expecting these drops. And this median is kind of like the average of the price. We still haven't reached that bottom, which should be around November, end of November time period, until we start finding the market bottom.
I'll zoom in on that a little bit.
Yes, sir. Let me zoom in.
There we go.
There you go. Thank you. So we're still looking at some room down here. Of course, my buy is way down here in this area. And you'll see why once we reach the monthly chart. And what I love, Don, I love your concept that you're bringing of doing basics and releasing it to the audience. You're very crystal clear on your explanations. And I think if you keep it, sign up, subscribe to this channel, Decentralized TV, and we intend to make this as simple as possible in layman terms, because not all of us are traders. We're teachers. We're pretty much everything in society, but we want to share this type of information. So when you see anything occurring in the market, you understand where we're at and not get trapped in these, what the institutionals call retail traders, because they are emotionally making decisions. We're more on the rational, historical, logic aspect of it.
Yep.
So this is where we're at overall. We still haven't reached the bottom, so we expect some downside. Doesn't necessarily mean it will happen. We just watch at the odds. So now let's move on to the next chart, which is the monthly chart. On the monthly chart, let me maximize that for visibility's sake. So where are we at? If you notice on the chart itself, I'm putting the floor, or the true floor, like the body of the candle floor, at around 13,888, which you can see here on the right-hand side, which is the 2017 monthly level top. We only see one run-up to where we're at today, which we are breaking down from this week. We're now below. It could turn out to be a double bottom, meaning that we could reach the previous bottom, which was around 17,585. If we reach that and then we start climbing back up, it could be a double bottom. I'd place that at 20% more or less, but I would also love to see Don Fran's opinion on this also, an analysis. So Don, we'll see you shortly this week. But here's where we're at. If you notice, there is no other floor or other level significant up until 17,300 more or less. That's the top of this wick in the 2017, and it served as the bottom of this wick, the bottom of our downturn, and now we're reaching down towards it. If we break that, there is nothing else supporting. It's just one streamlined drop to that 13.8. Now, why do we have buys below 13,800? It's because usually there's wicks like it occurred over here and over here. We may see the body stop over here, but we may see a wick. So what does that mean? It's like the ocean. You'll have waves that are larger than others. And in this downturn, although we're looking at 13,800 more or less as the floor, the price can drop dramatically below that and then return quickly to close the month at a floor level. That's usual. That's common to see. So don't fear if you see these lower numbers, especially when we see the battle between Temp and Don in terms of will it stop at 12,000 or will it wick down to the 11,800 that Don is looking at this. And here we go. Don even mentions, because we know it's going below 13,000, 12,000 in fact.
And that right when I give him some props, right when I say I am looking forward to the Don Fran lessons, which I absolutely am, he got to come on the back end. Okay, Don. Okay, Don. But I do enjoy very much watching his TA and breaking things down, because even Jaime, when you have these charts up, there's shadow bars on the bottom. There's 800 different colors everywhere. There's lines everywhere. And I think you're moving your cursor, but I'm like, I can't follow all this.
Yes.
So watching the lessons will be great.
Absolutely. And I have to learn to simplify this, guys. I'm so sorry, but we will all get there for sure. So now let me bring you on where Bitcoin is today. And now we're zooming in further to the weekly level. And that's where Bitcoin stands as of this moment, which we're moving to the very next chart. And yes, there's the colors, the diarrhea of colors that Tim was speaking. So let me get rid of this indicator here and zoom in to where we're currently standing today at. We dipped this far below, as low as 18,200, but we're back at this support level, a fib level. The moment we break below that, that's when we should see that drop to that 13,800, because there's nothing else to stop it except for this little pause at 17,200 area. So we may see a pause here, but then it's free fall from that point forward. So that's where we're at in terms of the overall Bitcoin market. I'll let you take the steering wheel.
No, I appreciate it. This is definitely, I mean, and we've talked about it several times over now, but I think it's certainly very important to continue to go over, especially as we get new viewers and that sort of thing, what our expectations are. And even though we think that there's going to be more pain ahead, and obviously it looks as if that is coming to fruition, I think it's important to know what our plan is. So, what is the plan? That's great. Okay, Bitcoin's coming down. What do we do? How do we strategize? And I think that's going to be important. So even if Tamp can chime in on this as well.
Yeah.
What, with this information, what are you doing so that perhaps maybe we can share some ideas, not to necessarily tell people what they should be doing, but just
ideas.
What's your strategy? Right. Yeah, exactly.
So for example, dollar cost average, which is buying every paycheck a little bit, something that you would go waste on Starbucks coffee instead of making coffee in your own home, for example.
Right.
Things like that you could re-task to building a foundation for yourself. That should always be active because you will average out at a good price overall. But trades like these where I'm looking at, okay, this would be a juicy one where I could almost double of what I had before this whole run up or when I stepped out, where it's a larger trade or a larger investment. You're like, okay, I'm putting in $50 every week, but I have 1,000. When should I put that in? And that's where you start looking at these levels. And I love Don Fran's offer for Friday, where he says, let's do a blank chart and draw where the zones are.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. And then Anne also said, not sure about blank charts or rainbow charts better, but excited for both. So
listen, we know that Tamp likes rainbow charts.
Love you, Tam.
Just building off of what you said, I think for the majority of people right now, unless you know what you're doing on a chart, you do nothing. You do absolutely nothing. This is when you earn your stripes and hodling. Jaime did mention, and I do agree with it, you should actually watch the Bitcoin price drop during this time, knowing you as a hodler might be able to pick up a little bit better buys with any extra cash that you have. You mentioned the Starbucks money. If you have any extra job, if you have a little bit of extra funds somewhere, you should be excited to watch the price fall because you know what you're doing, nothing. And then maybe you can slam a little bit of extra on top of your DCA and pick up a couple extra Satoshis in this bottoming activity that's going to be happening over the next couple weeks. So what you don't need to do is panic, right? This is crypto. Welcome to the show. This is where you earn your stripes. We have been here time and time again. We have been here before. We know what it feels like. If you're the type of person that freaks out watching price drop, whether it's stocks or Bitcoin, then go do something else. Leave it alone. Go outside. Go play with your kids. Go take a vacation. Go pick up a hobby. Don't watch anything until December. And even then, check it once, twice a month and leave it alone. But for the majority of people, you don't do anything right now.
Absolutely. And Tam, beautiful.
Thank you. I know this.
CeeLo would agree. So what we're now for the larger buys, for example, what we're looking at is I break down. If I'm looking at weeklies, and Don Fran and I will, and all of us will go through this on a more detailed, instead of how to draw, we'll give you the basics on the chart itself in terms of price. All of us that have been in here, you can see we're not stressed about it. It's because we're actually hoping it does do this so we can enter the market at a good price. It's kind of like when you buy a car or something that means something to you. You try to get to the best price possible. Well, that's where we're headed, guys. And that's where we want to focus our attention. So you don't want to catch a falling knife. Like, okay, where's the bottom? That is truly speculative. And that is dangerous to do.
Yes.
What you can do is from, let's say, your $1,000, you break it down into 1/6 portions. You break it, divide 1,000 by 6. And now you can enter and you find what's called weekly levels or weekly zones that Don Fran's very comfortable with. And he'll show you. I love it. The monthly levels. So those are kind of like floors where you jump in and you don't know if you're going to stop at this floor or you're going to stop at the next floor. But if you put a buy-in for your 1,000 and then you even do a Hail Mary one, like we don't expect it to go down to 6,000, for example, but shoot. Why not put a buy at that point where you know the moment it hits, usually there's a run up, a lot of buyers coming in like, oh, guys, I've been waiting for this. I'm jumping in with you. And it rises the price quite fast. So sprinkle in a couple of Hail Marys. In the end, of course, guys, do your own research. Make your decisions that will allow you to sleep at night. Yes. Not because Jaime, not because Don, not because Tam, not because of anybody, not because of these luminaries saying this is it. No, do what your wallet and your timing of your investment allows you to sleep well at night. That's my only advice from there. And that's why we have these discussions, is so you can, you yourself, discover, you know what, I'm comfortable with Don's methods of doing it in his areas. You know what, I'm going to follow that path. Just do it, guys. And this is a long-term investment. A long-term investment. Sorry. She's listening, guys. So
that's good point, Jaime. It's all very good. Just take your time. There's no rush. This is normal. Do not forget that. Again, welcome to the show. You are earning your stripes in the crypto market right now. You make it through this bear market without drowning. Like Don had a good quote on there. If you panic, you're thrown into a pool, you panic, all you get is a mouthful of water. If you relax, figure it out methodically, you will rise back to the top. And it's a great analogy for what we're going through. So take pride in knowing that you're learning, that this is all normal in this space, and that you are earning your first stripes. So welcome to the show.
Good shit. Good shit.
Absolutely.
All right, we just spent 20 minutes on probably the most somber show we've had so far.
Guys, it's not somber.
Yeah,
this
but
is the opportunity.
listen, you were talking like we're at a funeral. I think
Oh,
we
really?
all were.
Okay.
No, we all were. The case of the Mondays has hit DCTV today.
We need a soundbite for that.
we need to lighten it up a little bit. We have a new toy today,
Yes.
and we've been fucking with it all morning and all night last night. What do we got here? Let's just find something. Oh.
Hold on now. Hold on.
So our Monday started this way, I guess.
No, they start like this. Anyway, so let's lighten the mood. Okay, let's lighten the mood.
Let's do it.
Here's what happens when you ask the internet to name a Uranus mission.
Okay, wait, please don't look at this. Don't look at these yet.
But
Guys.
I'm just gonna share the screen real
Yeah,
quick.
yeah, go ahead,
Give
share.
you the gist. Apparently, NASA asked the internet about.
It wasn't NASA. It was an affiliate of NASA, but it was, nonetheless, it was amazing.
Was it Noah? Who was it?
I don't know who it was. It's just
I'm not giving any more context because I don't want to give it away because I do want my genuine reaction. So just take it away, Tamp. Let us know what happened.
So NASA is trying to go to Uranus, the planet, right?
Uranus.
They actually are planning to do this, but an independent agency came out and said, "Hey, let's let the internet name what this mission to Uranus should be called." And some of the responses were just amazing. So if I could just get you guys' legitimate reaction to this, let's go with some of the better submissions to the Uranus mission. Number 1 should be called Mission Colonoscopy, Operation Butt Plug.
Oh my God.
Pegasus. Prostate Exam.
Oh yeah, I like that one.
How about an acronym? Better Uranus Telemetry Tracking, or BUTT. Another acronym for Advanced New Uranus Space Mission, or ANUS. My
You
person.
can tell there were some like engineers or what have you that were also submitted.
Yeah, my personal favorite, Mission Seymour Butts.
Nice.
Mission Urinal Probe, Wandering Finger. That is another good one.
Oh my God.
Right. And then another good one, Proby McProbe Face. Very good.
I like
Good. So that's what happens when you let the internet name a mission to Uranus.
And let's do this. For those of you who are watching, give us your submission.
Yeah. What would you
Yeah,
name?
what is it?
Yeah. What would you name the mission?
Has he buzzed on the Pegasus?
Well, Tampa already did Pegasus.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's Pegasus.
Yes. Pegasus with 2 S's.
Can you imagine our society disappeared and we launched the mission, and then the aliens come over and they're like, "What the fuck?" are these humans?" No wonder they imploded. I mean,
not
fuck,
like
look at
this, guys.
No, it would be
Not
like-
like-
How come they got to probe the ass first?
right.
They would be jealous.
We are all watching from heaven, like, oh man, that's how we really left the earth. Not like this, aliens. It was a joke, man. We got to explain jokes now.
We're deeper than that, guys.
Oh,
Deeper.
good point, Jaime.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Just well hung. That's all.
What the fuck? Oh my God. All right.
Amazing.
Jesus. All right. So there you have it. We lighten up our Monday mood.
There you go.
Let's get into some other stuff. So Tamp also I actually brought this up this morning.
Man.
Yeah, the Do Kwon. So we talked about Do Kwon last week. You guys aren't familiar with him. He is the founder of the now failed cryptocurrency of Terra Luna. And Tamp was a huge investor in that. I wouldn't say huge investor, right? You just made a lot of money and then lost a lot of money.
Yeah, I would say maybe we were on like dolphin status, maybe not whale status, but it hurt.
Dolphin status. I
It
really
hurt.
like dolphin
It
status.
hurt. I wasn't
Yeah,
a tadpole, but I wasn't a whale.
There's actually an infographic. We'll post it, guys. We'll about these terms: shrimp, whale.
Okay.
There is
Okay.
one. Okay.
All right, so just to kind of give you guys some backstory here. So Do Kwon had a warrant out for his arrest from South Korea, and he's come out and said, "I'm not hiding, not hiding." He's not trying to avoid anything. And Tim, just kind of wanted to get some of your thoughts on this, and you know, what's the rest of the story here? Where do you?
Right. Well, and this is why we brought this story up when it originally broke last week. And if you remember, I said, man, we should tread lightly on this one because it doesn't sound completely right. I mean, it's been months since the Terra Luna collapse. Do Kwon and his lawyers have been, from all reports that we have, including from law enforcement, completely open and cooperating with everything. But again, you are trying to peg something on a man from a decentralized platform. So you're trying to blame Do Kwon for something that, I mean, he doesn't own Terra Luna. So how are you going to peg it on him? Yes, he was the face. Yes, he was the mouth. Yes, he was the founder of Terraform Labs, who was involved in Terra Luna, but they're not the owner of it. The community owns the coin. So this is where it gets real tricky with law enforcement. It's not as black and white as you would think. It's Do Kwon's fault, but it's not my coin. It's the community's coin. Right. So that's why I said we should tread lightly on this. And Do Kwon came out and said, listen, I'm not in hiding. I'm not going to tell you where I am unless you are my friend, unless you are law enforcement, or I have a reason to tell you where I am, because why would he? No one knows where I am right now unless you're my friend or have business knowing where I am. And plus, on this type of scale, I have lawyers for that. That's what I would do too. And, you know, I've watched lots of people do this that are completely innocent. My lawyers handle that. If you need something from us, we've cooperated the entire way thus far. We will continue to cooperate. But I don't owe Twitter or a reporter or anybody else for that matter to tell you where I am, what I'm doing. If it comes from an official capacity, we will cooperate. Here's my lawyer's information. We can go from there. So again, I'm happy we tread lightly on this, because this is one of those things where I'm a fan of innocent until proven guilty. You got to know the whole stories before you just start destroying people's lives and forming opinions about them. So I'm glad we waited on this one.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's what law enforcement also has to realize, is that although he was the one speaking, the one leading,
the founder,
the founder itself, the community was the one building also. Like there's tons of developers, not just Terra Luna, all of these. And remember, all these are experiments. Everyone's looking and building upon what they've learned in the past to build a better future on technology. Bitcoin was born from a lot of research from other people until the white paper was formed that brought all these technologies and discoveries together to make what Bitcoin is today, a protocol for transfer of value. So in the case of this, law enforcement tends to look for a head to cut off, no matter who it is. So obviously the easiest target is the one who voiced everything or led it or communicated to the world on behalf of the community that's building. But if you look at the community itself, unlike the scams that usually occur, everyone disappears. Everyone's gone. You can't find anything, versus everything in Luna. If you get into the community, you see they're building, they're rebuilding, they're assessing, they're trying to figure out what went wrong. So we can now algorithmically, which is the direction they want to go, where it's decentralized, it's self-healing, self-balancing, for the whole world to use a stable coin.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of research here. It's the same thing as the founder of Tornado Cash. Not the founder, I'm sorry. He's the one who developed the code. He just wrote the code that was open source. Open source. Government, a normal citizen, anyone can use. It's not like he built it in hiding, didn't share with anyone, and just started looking for a legal thing. No, he found a way to securely privatize assets, crypto assets. And now they went after him and put him in prison for this. Who knows what will happen next? But this is the type of thing we have to learn from these situations. And the fact that Do Kwon is openly communicating, like you can reach him to speak. He just is, I mean, put yourself in his shoes. Would you go expose yourself in such a way where bad actors, the ones that are not looking out for you, or someone to chop the head off and be the fall guy for the
Right.
whole project.
Right. And you bring up a good point too. After the collapse of Terra Luna, Do Kwon got a ton of death threats and serious bodily injury threats, not only to himself but also his family. I mean, he made no qualms about the fact that he had just gotten married and had just had a child. So why would I tell you where I am when all these people are out to harm me? Again, you can go through my lawyers. It's what I would do. It's what any person that removes emotion from the situation, it's what they would do too. I mean, let's be honest about it. So he's going to cooperate. We'll continue to watch this unfold, but this will be an interesting standard in the crypto space again, because this is not the first community owned coin that has failed, but because it failed at the level in which it did, all of a sudden everybody wants somebody to pay for it, and everybody wants to pass the blame of their financial decisions on somebody else, like they're owed something. So this is a huge learning lesson for people getting into cryptocurrency. And we say things like, do your own research, and this is not financial advice. We say those things partly because liability wise, we're required to, but honestly, we say them because it helps check yourself. If you lose, that's on you. No one is here forcing you to invest. No one is here telling you exactly what to do. We're telling you what we're doing and why we're doing it. But it's ultimately on you whether that results in great, either holding or increases of your monetary financial, own your own finances, or whether they fail. It's ultimately on you. So don't look for a Do Kwon or anybody else to take that ride for you. It's not their fault.
Yeah. And when we do your own research, you have to understand what you're putting your funds into. So that's what do your own research does. And situations like these remind us all why Satoshi Nakamoto disappeared. Like didn't, it's like, hey, here's the technology, here's the white paper, here's a way for the world to transfer value from Brad to me to Tamp securely, unhackable, decentralized,
without the banks,
formula,
without the governments, without the banks. And he knew the backlash. Satoshi knew, whoever knew, man, somebody's not going to be happy about this, and they're going to be seriously powerful. So he dipped, and I get it. He dipped. Do Kwon didn't. He's feeling it now. I guarantee you he'll change some things moving forward, because we do not want to lose a guy like that in this space. He's too smart. He's got too many ideas. He does a great job of bringing together developers and money, traditional money. We can't afford to lose these guys in the space that we want to mature over time.
We want this experimentation to continue and keep going, because that's how we evolve as a society also. I mean, there's choke points of value. I mean, even in the States, other countries it's not as bad, but in the States, owning gold, owning silver, like outright, was even outlawed back in the 20s. And then now we moved off of that standard. So there's decisions that are forced upon you versus this technology that we're evolving, all of us as a community, and scammers included, because scammers are the lessons of what not to do and what sociopaths do. But when it comes to this technology itself, securing what you've busted your ass to do and give to your children, that is worth sacrifices and failures to move forward with. So we now as humans can retain our store of value instead of inflation eating through it due to human policies eating through it.
Yep, exactly. Great stuff, Tamp. I appreciate you. I mean, it's been a sore spot for you for a while now, for a multitude of reasons. So I appreciate you.
Lessons learned. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So moving on, the merge went through. It was successful. And, really no serious hiccups as far as that's concerned. Thursday, Ethereum's merge went through, and seemed as if everybody was pretty happy with that. Obviously, the Ethereum price still just continuing to fall with everything else.
Sell the news.
Right. And that's what's happening. But what's making matters worse is for those who are actually mining Ethereum. Cryptocurrency miners have hit by the merge. A Vietnam report reveals that Vietnam's crypto miners have suffered heavy losses, with their mining rigs now shut off after the second largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization switched into a more energy efficient framework. We've talked about this: proof of work versus proof of stake. And I'm curious, is it worth actually mining for Ethereum anymore? Like, where do they go now? And obviously this is from Vietnam, but this is impacting all Ethereum miners, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
The proof of work miners.
Proof of
What's the difference? The proof of work, you need graphics cards usually to process the transactions for the blockchain, to secure the network and process transactions. It's solving mathematical formulas and then attaching the results to it and submitting it as a secure transaction into the chain.
In which you get a reward for.
Exactly,
Ethereum.
in Ethereum. And for Vietnam overall, and trust me, everyone, you're going to see graphics card prices drop dramatically also. So all you gamers, no more, what the hell? Why am I paying 4 times the value for my gaming? So that's coming down also. These are repurposable to other tokens. Of course, everyone looks at Ethereum as the enterprise type solution out there. So that's why there's so much suffering from the proof of work. The people who invested in these graphics cards to process transactions, they moved to server based. So imagine a data center. Imagine you have a computer here in your house where you attach a certain amount of tokens, 32 ETH in this case, would be for you to launch a node or a staking, a node. Let's put it, a node to process transaction. Instead of a graphics card, now you use this server. You're attaching your Ethereum to secure the network, but the intensity of power consumption drops way down. And that's why it's greener. Ethereum is greener from that perspective. Although keep in mind that nodes and staking are still experimental. So there are risks with this versus proof of work has been running pretty much well ever since inception back in 2009.
Yeah.
So everyone knew if you were mining Ethereum for a while, up until the merge, it was the highest revenue miner you could get out there, because it's kind of like, why are interest rates so high in a country that's going to shit?
Right.
It's usually because it's higher risk, so they're willing to pay higher interest. But it's a catch-22 in that case, because something bad is tied at the end of this. The key is who gets out first. So a lot of these people who did not make plans are now suffering, because now what do they do with the ASIC itself? And 2, how do they earn? Now, if they were wise, they would have kept all the tokens mined and just converted over to the proof of stake.
Yeah. Like this one is, okay, look, I get it. The merge is supposed to have been happening for the last 5 years. For literally 5 years, we're going to merge to proof of stake. We're going to. So I understand why some miners that were still doing the proof of work mining on Ethereum didn't necessarily believe that the merge that actually happened was in fact going to happen. But you still have to plan for, if it does, what am I going to do with the old equipment that is now useless on this new proof of stake chain? So if you are only looking at the mining itself and not what is actually going on with the Ethereum development, then that's bad on you as a miner. You need to not only know how to run the proof of work miners, but you also need to be able to look into the Ethereum developer test nets and see, hey, look, I know that we've been kicking this merge can down the road for 5 years, but they actually are testing things on the back end now. It actually does look like when they flip the switch, it could actually merge. They've been telling you for 5 years they're going to do this. So you're not allowed to say, I didn't know. And in the article referenced, I mean, I'll verbatim it. Quote, I spent my family savings on the mining rig. I don't know how to recover from that. End quote. I mean,
Christ.
I don't know what to say. You got duped. You jumped into something without knowing everything that's been going on. So, I mean, this is like all of a sudden on opening day of football season, the ticket office at the school is like, I don't know what's going on. All of a sudden, everybody's here wanting tickets and the phone's ringing and the emails. It's like, hello, you've had 9 months to get ready for this. I mean, this didn't just creep up on you, right? You're not prepared. So I don't know, for this, it's like, again, welcome to the show. This has been 5 years in the making. It could have been, pushed longer like it has been, but this has been in the process of happening. So if you're caught off guard, 100% on you at this point.
Yeah, I think it is sensationalist news, because come on, if you're getting into Ethereum mining, you got to know a little bit of programming. You got to know a little bit of something to now be duped.
Yeah. Maybe go ahead.
So they mentioned in the article that they all knew this day would come and they had been prepared, but some hoped the merge would happen later so that they could mine more.
Right.
And so
that's called hedging.
I think it was more. I think it was more like, we know this is coming. We just hope it doesn't come as soon as it did. But to your point too, Tamp, I mean, this has been an ongoing conversation, an ongoing process for 5 years.
Yeah, and I think they're upset too because they thought that the proof of work coin, even after the merge, might hold a little more value than it ended up holding. I mean, you'll see that a lot in forks, that the old fork actually retains a lot of value. And it over time will slowly start to decline, and the new fork will start to take over and go up. So I think a lot of these people are just simply butthurt that the proof of work coin basically held no value whatsoever, even directly after the merge. So that part I can see somebody getting caught off guard on. But again, that's a chance you take. Just because you have a hard fork doesn't mean that the old fork will in fact hold value. I mean, that's the whole reason you're moving on, is to leave one set of software behind and adopt a new set of software that we move forward with. So you're not guaranteed to have any value in the old chain. So, I mean, I could see somebody being surprised over that, but you're not really allowed to be upset and taken aback by it. I mean, it's the game.
Yeah. You had to do research to learn mining.
Yeah.
So literally you had to have come across, we're moving from proof of work to proof of stake at some point. So, and it's dated by September, for example. So it's like, okay, guys. And Gundy says a good point. He said he read that stat recently. Don't know the validity. I'm sorry, my English is not this thing. But if it said only 0.2% of global power saved on consumption, we will do the research.
No, that's true. He's right about it, which is funny because it's like, listen, if we knew, let's say, whatever climate warning globalist, I'm an environmentalist group, wanted to attack Ethereum and say, or Bitcoin even for that matter, and say, hey, you guys are using way too much energy. You've got to change to proof of stake. Okay, fine, we'll do that. But you do realize it's only saving 0.2% of power compared to the way we were doing it. Why are we spending all this time and effort attacking cryptocurrency and Bitcoin when we know it's only going to save 0.2% of the pollution, right? Why not go after something that is actually hardcore contributing to the problem? You're attacking cryptocurrency because the environmental angle just gives you a reason to complain about the larger issue that you're truly worried about, which is we don't need the banks, we don't need the government, we can transact peer-to-peer privately if we wanted to. And you have a problem with that. You're just going to try to make it about energy so that you're the good guy and the crypto is the bad guy. 0.2%, it doesn't make a difference on a global scale. So if you're really worried about the environment, go attack something that's truly harming the environment, not something that saves you 0.2%.
Yeah, I actually put up a very interesting chart here last night on at Hello Metafied's Twitter. So be sure to go check us out at Hello Metafy on Twitter. Looking at this, this is the energy consumption or CO2 emissions from some of the largest contributors, right? Bitcoin here, 41 metric tons, which is a lot. Not going to take away from that. But tumble dryers actually comes in higher than Bitcoin.
Oh
my Get rid of your dryers. Get rid of your dryers. Yep.
That's mind blowing.
That was good time. That was good time.
By the way, for all you viewers, watch. This new toy is amazing.
Yeah.
So why did I hit my hand? Here's the thing. Bitcoin, even BlackRock, for ESG reasons, ESG purposes, and for their investors to buy spot Bitcoin are wrapping it with ESG initiatives, and Energy Web Token is one of them. You see that they're allowing the investments of Bitcoin. So renewable energy is a huge thing. Even here at Medify in North Carolina, we're at a very, very high renewable source in this region. So we made sure that we are a good citizen of the world. I'm raising my kids for all of us, for a better future for them. I want to leave a better world for them. So these graphs really show where the problem lies. It's funny that they're using news and all these reports as if, oh no, guys, Bitcoin is like way off the charts. When you look at the facts, it isn't.
Air conditioners are worse.
Yeah. What were some of those other big bars on that chart? I couldn't read it.
Yeah. So it was aviation industry was the biggest culprit, 1,982 metric tons. Marine transport sector, 1,500. Air conditioners came in at third with 984.
Right. So
and Bitcoin was all the way in the bottom, 41 metric tons for just mining Bitcoin. We were, obviously touching on Ethereum, but I thought this applied as well. But yeah, I mean, this is obviously,
just
if you look
attack
at
something that matters.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
and people are saying all the time, and this is why people yell hypocrisy at celebrities who go to these global warming initiatives in their private jet. You are contributing literally to the biggest problem of global warming. The hypocrisy of it is just amazing to me. But we want to attack Bitcoin, which we know is at the very, very bottom of the list. Again, I don't know, maybe it's because these movements think that they can actually win against something smaller. I mean, again, I'm going to go with the agenda that they don't like the fact of what cryptocurrency and Bitcoin represent in terms of the ability for peer-to-peer transactions without the need for politics or banks. That, I believe, is the real problem. But even if that didn't apply, if your concern is 100% environmental, Bitcoin is not what you rally the troops for. It's just too small of an impact. Go rally the troops for something that can really, really matter on your cause.
Absolutely. And if they say it's all greed, well, you see that Bitcoin is 41 tons. If you look at the gold industry, it's 3 times Bitcoin.
Not only that, data centers are more than twice, more than 2 times that amount. 100 metric tons for data centers. Why isn't nobody coming after Google, Amazon, Facebook,
Disney,
Apple,
Netflix?
Right. And they all have data centers that take up tons of energy, and nobody's been holding them accountable for social responsibility on the environment, right? But somehow Bitcoin, Ethereum, those types of industries, or the crypto industry in and of itself, is being scrutinized for something like this, which is just hilarious.
Yeah, Gundy made a point too, where if you go green, you get more government money from their initiatives and everything else. I think this is why you saw Elon Musk crawfish quite a bit on Bitcoin, not necessarily crypto. And listen, we all know Elon Musk is smart enough to have Bitcoin understand its purpose and its helpfulness in making the hardest money that we've ever known existed in this world. But he had to crawfish on Bitcoin because of the energy consumption narrative. And now that jeopardizes his green policy funding that he gets from the government with Tesla and all the battery, carbon neutral stuff that he does get finances for. He had a crawfish on his stance on Bitcoin, but he was allowed to keep Doge and anything else, so to speak, because they are proof of stake. So they're quote unquote better. But you can see how this is a massive conflict of interest that, I mean, I hope a lot of people are seeing the forest for the trees on all this stuff.
Absolutely. And the fact that even BlackRock is explicitly saying our first investment, where we're interested in doing in the crypto sphere, is Bitcoin. Yeah. And how are we being ESG responsible is through this other token to show the world, hey, this is green. It's kind of like the blood diamonds, the certification that it is not from a bad source.
Right.
That's the method they're entering this market. And regulations coming very shortly because of it.
Right.
All good stuff, guys.
Do your research, guys.
Yes, that's going to be our show today. Cutting it a little early, but this was great. It was good stuff we talked about today. I think it was, hopefully we eased your mind a little bit on, what actions that may be worth taking into consideration on your own Bitcoin and crypto holdings. And this applies to stocks too. If you guys are watching and you are, more of the traditional side of things, the same type of philosophy would apply, especially if you're in particular in more solid investments such as like Apple, for example, Johnson & Johnson, whatever. We've talked about this as well. If you guys are interested in that traditional finance side of things, make sure you go check me out at Own the Chaos on YouTube. I'll be live today at 3:45 p.m. Eastern time. And go check us out on all of our socials as well at Hello Medify. We need to really get a DCTV Twitter up too. All of our DCTV socials need to go up there too. We need to have some sort of identifier for DCTV. Also, go check us out at
themedify.co.
.co. Yep.
.co, not .com, .co, and click on the socials. Where we're all active in speaking is in Discord.
Yep.
Jump in there.
Yeah.
And you can speak with Boss Don, our future guest, Indo Crypto coming in with NFTs. Everything's happening in there. Join the conversation. If there's anything you want us to bring up, analyze, drop it in there, and we will make it happen.
You want to give them a heads up about this Thursday as well? What we got going on, special Thursday?
Knock yourself out.
This Thursday, we are not going to be live streaming in the traditional sense right here, like you see us at 9 o'clock. We'll actually be live at 12:30 or 12:30 Eastern time from a community college, a local community college in Charlotte, where we have been asked to represent a forum on stage, a question and answer session for industries that are disrupting business as we know it, one of those being cryptocurrency. So we are going to live stream from that event, for your viewing pleasure, but it will be at a different time at 12:30 Eastern, and you will not see us at 9 a.m. on Thursday because of that.
And the crew, if you're local, join Discord, ask us where it's at. We'll send you the address. If you're going to join the crowd, our crew will be there. Also,
live studio audience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, right.
Heck
We
yeah.
gotta watch our language on that one. I do. Lord
Fuck
knows
yeah.
I
Fuck yeah. We better. No cussing in this area.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
These children don't know what a cuss word is.
Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. And that's going to do it for today's show. Stay safe out there, guys, and hodl.
Boom, baby.
Bye-bye.